Peter Lancett is with me again, my amazing soul brother. Welcome, Pete. You're going to give us a gift today, aren't you?
Well, yeah, it's sort of a gift. Yeah, I mean, that's the way I describe it, and others have described it that way. I didn't invent the idea of it being a gift, but it is. And there are lots of things that we can do with our minds that can change our perception of the way we are in the world at any given moment. And right now, I mean, we've come out of 2 years of a pandemic. We're now in a world that's opened out into incredible chaos. And I don't just mean the war in Ukraine. And uh, there are other conflicts going on everywhere else. There are problems with people who are fleeing from that. I mean, we can't get Ukrainians in here. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the world, price rises and so on. It would be really, really nice if instead of worrying and becoming anxious about the things that we cannot control, that we find our own inner place, our own inner resources that help us sit in peace and tranquility and joy throughout it all.
Hmm.
So it's something that you can actually access whenever you need to access it, whenever you want to access it. It's there all the time. Something that you can actually create and build on, something that will be your own. It's a foundation for a lot of change work. A foundation being something that you can go to where you feel no stress, nobody wants anything from you, nobody's putting pressure on you. And even if the world outside is like that for you at any given moment, you can come back to this place. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And I'm going to show you how to do that whenever you want, as quick as snapping your fingers in the end. So it's how you
Oh.
feel that counts. It's
Hmm.
really about how you feel. We're going to use imagery. We're going to use, well, what's known as dynamic mental imagery. And you didn't realize it, but you have the power to create all of that. And it's not going to take long. It's only going to take us a few minutes to do it, which is why it's worth explaining how this is going to be. For anybody watching this, even though I'm going to work with you directly on this, anybody watching or listening can take part. You can
Hmm.
follow it and you can create your own space. It's going to be as easy as that. I mean, I will be asking you questions, but other people can answer them in their own mind, in their own way, and just
Oh,
follow
I'm
it
very
through.
excited.
I've
I'm
got
going
to
to sit
say,
down. I'm going to adjust my
you're going to adjust
space
your
so I can
set.
sit down.
Okay, that's good.
Because otherwise.
We've lost you. You've
Here I
disappeared.
am.
There you go. There you go. That's
Right.
better.
Because those who don't know, I tend to sit down, stand up
Stand up. Yeah,
when I'm
yeah,
speaking and coaching, but now I'm receiving. So
yeah. Your hair looks fantastic, by the way, today. I mean, it
thanks.
always does, but it does. It looks really great. Really
Do
suits you
you know the
all the time.
secret?
No, what's the secret?
It's desperate to be washed, so I've sprayed the shit out of it with dry shampoo.
Love it. That's the one. And I'm glad you shared that with us, because
Yeah.
otherwise, I mean, the fact that I've got virtually no hair at all makes me jealous anyway. But
You've got loads of hair.
I have not. It's as thin as anything and it's going and it's like, whoa. And I keep taking collagen supplements and I use all kinds of essential oils and it's holding it back. But yeah, when it's gone, it's gone. That's it.
And it is what it is.
It is what it is, and I ain't going to worry. That's not going to be my biggest purpose in life. I have to tell you.
But you laugh about that, Pete, and you know most of my audience. And when I say this, I don't laugh with humor. I laugh because it's actually, when you look at the bigger picture, it's quite sad, really, because I've been there. They
Mhm.
spend most of their lives chasing a body that they'll probably never have, or if they do have, they will have to continue with disordered eating and restriction in order to keep it. They can't live.
Well, no, I mean you become a prisoner, don't you, to a goal that's unattainable
Exactly. So we laugh
at
about
times.
you spending your whole life chasing a hair, but I mean, those listening and watching, are you doing that with your body? Just something to
Hey,
ask yourself and just get curious.
I think we'll just take a couple of seconds here and let people ponder on that. Oh,
Mm,
just a few seconds. Just people sit with that.
mm. I did
Mm.
for a long time.
Yeah, because if you go inside, find a quiet place, and just ask yourself that. How's that working for you? How is that making positive additions to your life? How is that helping you to step forward? How is that bringing you joy? How is that bringing you peace?
Exactly that. It
Because it
wasn't for
doesn't.
me.
Yeah, and this is why I always love your posts on Facebook, because they're always addressing this issue in different way. You come at it from so many different angles, but it's the same thing. You know, really addressing it. I think you're very clever at doing it.
Thank you. Because I've lived experience. I mean, certifications, yes, I have, but honestly, it's not about that in the work I do. It's more so about having lived through it and come out the other side, and then also loving to teach this to people in a way that they understand.
Sure.
That's one of my gifts.
And I think that is absolutely fantastic. And obviously, I know you very well. I know how good you are at this, and how skilled, and how much you love the people you work with,
I
which
do.
is which is what really makes it work.
I do.
And
And I
that's
love
what you're
every
bringing.
single person listening and watching this. And I mean that. And maybe people might think, well, how can you love me? You don't know me. You've never heard of me. I promise you, I love you, human to human. And the fact that you're investing in yourself with your time, watching this, listening to this, my heart goes out to you. So just take a moment to receive the love. Are you also sending love, Pete?
Always,
Mm,
you've got to be in that space
mm,
to do it. You can
yes.
feel the breath. So,
Okay,
well, I
right,
didn't
I'm
expect to
ready.
have these moments today.
No, I know. This is why I love our we have conversations
Yeah,
like this when we're just chit-chatting. This is my type of
we do.
conversation.
It is, and it's one that I love too. So I've lost where we were. We were
I
doing
was a
something.
I think I was about to, I don't know if you was going to go into the meditation or the hypnosis or
I was about to. I wanted to say to people though, before we do it, because it's a trance state that you'll be
Mhm.
entering into. We enter trance states all the time. But I would say, please don't follow this if you're driving a car. Hit the pause button, or if you're
Yeah,
operating machinery or anything that demands your complete attention. This isn't the thing. This is where you've got to sit down and find a moment for yourself, and it's not going to take long. So save it for then. But please do not do this while you're driving, particularly, just
yeah.
in case.
Pete's that good. He'll snap his fingers and you'll be acting like a chicken or glued to your chair asleep, and then before you know
Well,
it,
well, just before we start, I mean, your eyes are probably going to close in this.
yeah. Right, I'm ready to receive.
You're ready, are you? Okay. So look, first of all, I want you to imagine somewhere. I mean, somewhere that's really calm and peaceful, a place that you love. It could be somewhere that you know, somewhere you've visited. It could be a fantasy place. It could be somewhere out in nature that you're going to create right now. Something really nice, somewhere you can retreat to when life just becomes a little too much. And let me ask you, are you there yet? Have you found that place?
Yes.
You have, you found that place. Can you describe it? What do you see?
So for me, it's like this secret garden,
A secret garden, yeah.
and there's I'm I'm in a little corner, and there's like a really comfortable chair that's low to the ground that's got loads of cushions on,
Mm-hmm.
and behind me is the wall, and it's got loads of
Lovely wall.
ivy and flowers like growing on the wall,
Oh,
and then
wow.
around me there's like loads of beautiful wildflowers and
Beautiful
purposely
wildflowers,
grown
yeah.
flowers.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
And what sort of colors are you seeing?
Red,
Flowers and the
purples, blues, pinks.
red, purple, blue, pink. Yeah, this is great.
Mm.
And is there grass there in that garden?
A little. It's
Lovely.
purposely made. So there's like little sections with
Mm-hmm.
grass put there. There's some stone, there's some
Some
pebbles.
stones. And what's the wall like?
It's a brick wall, but an old style brick wall.
Old style brick wall. What color are the bricks?
Like a whitewashy kind of
Oh,
color with a depth of like gray to that, if that makes sense.
sure. So sort of whitewashy color with a depth of grey beyond that. And what's between the bricks? Anything or nothing or
Yeah, I don't cement, I think you call it, but it's like
cement? Yeah, sure.
it's white and it's aged.
It's white and it's aged.
Hmm.
What would it feel like if you were to run your fingers over that wall, over the bricks, over the cement?
Bumpy
Bumpy, yeah,
and rough,
and rough.
but it's not offensive to me that it's rough.
No, not offensive.
Hmm.
And are there any aromas in this garden? Can you smell anything?
I can smell a whole array of different flower smells, so sweet,
Mmm,
floral,
sweet and floral, yeah.
hmm, freshness.
And freshness like this, yeah.
Hmm.
Just take a moment to take that in. Are there any sounds? Can you hear anything?
Can hear a few birds tweeting.
Hear birds tweeting, yeah. Anything else?
No,
No, nothing else, just the birds tweeting. And how do you feel about the birds tweeting and the floral scent?
I just feel really calm and
Calm
grounded
and grounded, yes. That's good.
and safe
And safe.
and at one with nature.
At one with nature. Let me ask you, the wall, does it surround the whole garden? Can you see that far? Do you know?
I can't see the garden's big, so behind me I've got two parts of the wall, so I'm like
Oh,
in the corner.
yeah.
I don't actually know how far it goes.
Okay, that's good. You're in the corner, and so there are
Hmm.
two parts of the wall behind you. And if you were to look up, what is the sky like?
It's a gorgeous deep blue colour, and there's
Deep
only a
blue.
few white fluffy candy floss clouds like in the sky.
A few white fluffy candy floss clouds in the sky. How do you feel about those clouds being there?
I like them because the blue
You
sky
like them?
alone is a little bit boring to me.
A little bit boring. So the clouds make it interesting. Is that right?
Yeah, because the cute little
That's
fluffy
good.
shapes.
Cute little fluffy shapes. And where's the sun?
It's beaming down on me, but
Is it high in the sky or
it's
is it
late afternoon, so
late afternoon?
it's we've had the warmth of the day,
Yeah,
but it's not like blazing overhead.
it's not blazing overhead. How does it feel on your skin?
Warm,
Warm.
inviting,
That's
comforting.
warm and inviting and comforting.
Mm.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah, it feels like nourishing, like it's nourishing me with something.
Nourishing you with something, yeah. Well, we certainly know about vitamin D, but there are so many other things, so many emotional things that the sun can do for us. As
Mm.
we know, some people have problems in the winter when the sun is hardly there, don't they? We know
Yeah.
that.
Mm.
We won't name it because it means nothing to us in that garden where the sun is in the late afternoon sky, the warmth on your skin and the sound of the birds, color of the flowers, the texture of the wall, the cement, the white, the grey behind. Mm. And do you feel safe there?
Yeah, really safe and relaxed. It's almost
Safe and relaxed.
like no one can find me.
No one can find you. How do you
Mm.
feel about that?
It's like my little secret hideaway. So a
A
space
little
where
secret. Yeah,
it's just for me.
just for you. Now I'm going to allow you to really enjoy and get to know this special place, this sanctuary space, this beautiful garden that you have created. And you can take a few moments to explore this garden, maybe take a few steps into the garden, see things that you couldn't see from where you began, out, away from the walls and into the garden. And what do you notice as you begin to take your steps into that garden?
There's a bird bath.
A bird bath, yes.
Yeah. In the middle of like, not a crossroads because it's not a road, but it's like in the middle, and then there's like different paths that you can.
Different paths, yeah. How do you feel about those paths?
Excited.
Excited.
Mm.
Would you be tempted to explore one of those paths?
Yeah, the one on the left feels good.
The one on the left feels good. What's the path made of?
It's made of bark, like,
Oh, bark, yes.
yeah,
Are you wearing shoes as you explore this garden?
I am. But I
You
think
are.
I might take them off.
Okay. And how does the ground feel beneath your feet after you've taken off your shoes?
Slightly damp and cold, but nice.
Slightly damp and cold, but nice. How would it be if you were to make the ground dry and warm? Because you can do that.
Mm,
How does that feel now?
that's nicer.
And I wonder what that bird bath means. It's got to mean something.
Mm.
Do you know what it means?
The word center is coming to
Center.
me for some reason.
Center.
Mm.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Mm.
Maybe you can contemplate the meaning of that bird bath even more as you revisit this wonderful space. And as
I
you
think
explore, yes, carry on.
I think it means because I've just, you know me, I just need to inquire about what that
Sure.
the word meant. And what I'm getting is just a beautiful reminder that I can choose any path I'd so desire,
Yes.
but I'll always have myself to keep me grounded and centered and nourished because there's water in the bird bath as
And there's
well.
water in the bird bath, yes. So centered, grounded, nourished. That's really good.
Mm.
And it's a symbol that has great meaning. And there's so many meanings to a symbol like that bird bath. And you may not know them all yet, but they'll all have great meaning and significance for you. And as you continue to explore your garden, I want you to notice an object there, something that you can pick up. And when you've noticed it and picked it up, tell me what it is.
Hmm. It's a really unusual like stone.
An unusual stone, yes. Is it heavy?
No, it's about the size of like half of my hand in my palm.
Yes.
And it's like got this strange magical golden shimmer to it, and it's like
Shimmer.
all sparkly.
Sparkly, magical shimmer, yes. How do you feel about that?
I feel excited. I feel excited a lot. I feel
Yes, that's
excited that
good.
that I've found this stone because it's special and it must mean something.
Yes, it's got to mean something, and perhaps you don't know what it means yet, but
Hmm.
you will. And I'd like you to notice how all of those wonderful positive emotions and feelings that you are finding in this sanctuary space, this garden that you've created just for you, the stone contains them all.
Mm.
And you'll know that when you come back, you'll be bringing that stone with you. And at any time in the future, whenever you need, whenever you feel inspired to do so, whenever perhaps you need that calm, peaceful state of being as the world goes about its business around you, you can always revisit and explore that garden. And there are parts of that garden that you haven't found yet, but you will. And to get to that garden and to get those feelings back, if you don't have the time to explore, all you have to do is bring that stone to mind, and all of the positive emotional feelings, all the sensations that you get from being in your sanctuary space will fill you from your heart, spreading through your body, to your mind, to your soul, filling you, giving you all of that instant peace, changing your way of being and feeling to one of bliss, comfort, happiness, joy, all the things that you experience in that sanctuary space. So take a moment to contemplate the gift that you've just given yourself, holding that stone in your hand and keeping that stone with you. And when you're ready, only as quickly as you know that this is your perfect place, you can, that's it, starting to breathe as you take this in. You can come back to now and open your eyes whenever you're ready, whenever you know that this is your space.
Mm.
Hey, welcome back. How are you doing?
Ah, that was so nice. And you know what the stone was?
What's the stone? Yeah, tell me.
When you were sharing how I could access that and it would represent the
The whole
garden,
feelings, yeah.
the stone was shaped, it was shaped like a heart,
Mm-hmm.
but it had a defect on the stone.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that represents that nothing's perfect. And actually, the fact that it wasn't perfect made it even more special.
Yes.
And the fact that it was shaped similar to a heart, it was golden and shimmery, represented the fact that if you're looking for something in every situation or every experience, you'll always find the magic, the love, the acceptance, even if on the outside it doesn't look as you think it should look. Because when I
Of
first
course.
picked it up, I was a little bit disappointed that it wasn't like a perfect looking stone.
It's interesting that you were a little disappointed, and yet it's spoken to you.
Yeah, because I noticed the disappointment and then allowed myself to be open to something different.
And now you understand its purpose.
Mm,
Certainly one of its purposes is to bring you that feeling of peace and joy and
that's so
calm,
wonderful.
and you can do it at any time. So
Mm,
if we're talking, like now, I just want you to think, I want you to imagine. You don't have to close your eyes. You can keep your eyes open. Just imagine that you can look down and see that stone in your hand. What do you feel?
just love, joy, acceptance, possibility. It's like what the bird bath represented. It's like an underlying feeling of groundedness within myself,
Mm-hmm.
which is very powerful, especially with, as you say, the way the world is and what's going on in my personal life recently, all of that. And I'm still grounded because I know I've got
Of
me.
course. Yes, you have. I
Hmm.
want you can close your eyes for this one. Just think of that stone. Imagine that stone and imagine the garden surrounding you. And I want you to feel everything you felt in that garden, every sensation. And when you're ready, come back.
Oh, the feeling of just calmness and peace, right? Just washed over,
Mm,
peace just washed over me.
lost over. And that's the souvenir that you've brought back
Mm.
from that garden. And that's how quickly you can get it. Whenever you find yourself in a stressful state, whenever you find yourself in a position where you cannot have any control of it and you're not happy with what's going on, think of it, bring yourself there. It doesn't change the circumstances around you, it changes your perception of them.
Mm-hmm.
It refuses to allow those sensations affect your state of being. You have
Mm.
that all the time. And I would suggest to you and to anyone else that's been listening who goes through this process of creating their own sanctuary and really exploring it and knowing how it feels and knowing the sensations that they get, practice it. Even when you don't feel stressed, if you've got a
Mm.
moment, practice it. Keep going there, go back there. For you, Victoria, because you found the pathways, explore them. There's more to that garden than we know.
Yeah. And you
And
know,
it has more to show you.
there's so much in this, because even the way I answered, and I knew, and I think that you took this because the way you answered in your voice, I could feel it. You know, when I said no one can find me, and it's almost like
Yeah,
you were like, oh really? I thought you was going to say something like that's interesting. In your life now, do you feel like you need time to yourself? Like it's just
I
there's so
don't suggest things.
much.
I'm not going to ever suggest things to you. This is your sanctuary, not mine.
Mm.
I, I was just interested. I was just very curious to see because I never know what to expect. But it's interesting that that came up for you.
I didn't realize that would come up either. The way that it was like, I'm by myself,
Yeah,
no one can find me, to me represents or invites me to take a look at my day-to-day life and
sure.
maybe question that, like, why do I maybe feel that I need to be away from like my phone, people, conversations sometimes, because it felt like a big
Only
relief to just be
sometimes.
like, ah,
Ah,
no one wants anything from me.
yeah, well, it's like your timetable.
Exactly.
Your schedule is like bam, 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 down to the minute.
Getting a bit better, but I'm not going to lie,
I know.
sometimes I do find myself swaying back to, but it's never like it used to be since you've
No,
shared that with me.
I well, I hope it doesn't go back to how
No,
it was before, where
it
every
won't.
second. I mean, otherwise, I reckon that you should change careers and become either a lawyer or an accountant, where you have to actually show on your calendar every 15-minute segment that you've been productive.
Oh no, I'm definitely moving away from that.
I should move
Definitely.
away from that. Who wants to do that?
Exactly. I work for myself so I can have freedom, but then wasn't it interesting that I was working for myself when we had this conversation a few years ago, but then I was creating the most structured
Mm,
day-to-day thing for me to do, which in my opinion isn't really freedom.
it's not. You were a
Mm.
slave to your schedule
Like
at that
that's
point
exactly, yeah.
without knowing it.
Yeah.
Without knowing it. That's the crucial thing. These things slide into us sometimes and we don't realize that they've happened.
Mm.
But it's interesting.
Yeah, and
The
that was a
that was
wonderful experience. Thank you. I loved it when you said to go and explore.
hmm what I'm going to do. Um, Probably tomorrow is I'm going to record a generic version of that doesn't require answers. I'll allow people to find what they want, and then I'll put it on YouTube. And then if you want to give people access to it, then you can give people a link to it.
Oh,
Yeah,
yes, please. That would be
it's fine.
wonderful.
Yeah,
Yeah,
not a
because I'm
problem.
sure
I'll
those
do that.
listening and watching obviously may have been influenced by my answers because I'm saying it out loud. So,
Sure. Yeah, that's why I think, if I do one that's generic, it just asks the questions and allows people to respond. I mean, I know how to do that, so because I do this with groups too. So you can imagine
mm,
there are ways of doing it that allow uh, multiple people to access it and get the benefit from it.
thank you
It's
so much.
anything, this is definitely a foundation for change. It's a
Mm.
foundation for grounding and peace. It's a place you can always go to, and everybody will have a different place. Some people will be indoors. Some
Mm.
people, it'll be a place that they've already been to, somewhere that they know. Others, it could be something from a movie or a TV ad, anything that's just spoken to them. They'll be there. You know,
Yeah.
I always make things up. I always allow my unconscious mind to create something new because it's really talking to me then.
Can you
But it
explain to
doesn't
our
mean it's magic.
listeners and viewers the context of two things? So when I found the bird bath,
Hmm.
you obviously shared that means something. It symbolizes something for me.
Hmm.
What does that mean? And also in terms of just imagination anyway, like quote, making things up, visualizing,
Sure.
that's also meaning something because it's coming from somewhere.
It is. It's coming from your unconscious mind. It's coming from, or what some people call the subconscious mind. Same thing. But this is the biggest part of the mind. This is like the giant, deep ocean of your mind where all of your resources are. It speaks in symbols, numbers, colors, sounds, musical notes. It doesn't tend to speak in words terribly well. So when we want the unconscious mind to elicit something for us, something that we need, something that's going to be beneficial and helpful to us, it's best to just go into some kind of imagery and ask it to give you an object. I would say to people here, no matter what appears when you ask that to happen, always go with the first thing that comes.
Mm.
However silly or un, something that you, even if it's something you don't like, go with the first thing. That's what the unconscious mind's giving you. Don't edit it. Plenty of times I can see people when I say, okay, what is that object? And they'll be sitting there thinking, and it's like, you've seen
Mm.
something. And so I'll usually snap my finger and say, not that one. What's the next one?
That's so
Until they do it,
interesting.
you never edit it. It's always going to give you the right thing for that moment. First thing up. I'll give you a clue. I was just doing some conversational hypnosis training. I mean, I'd done it for a long time, but I wanted to join this international association, and I have to be qualified in this certain thing. So I went
Which
through
you
it.
now have.
Which I do. Yeah,
Congratulations.
I've done it. Well, thank you. But the point was, we were doing this exercise, and it was, it was a dynamic mental imagery exercise like this, and I was the subject, and it was like, and what comes to mind? It was SpongeBob SquarePants. I have to tell you, it couldn't be any less inappropriate, you think, for the situation that I was in. And yet, it had a story. It told me something.
Wow.
Because SpongeBob, however silly and funny he is, he thinks that he's very serious. SpongeBob is very serious. He has virtually no sense of humor.
Oh,
He takes everything seriously.
interesting.
And so there it was. So it was really to like chill out and be a bit more fun. And there are other things that I've got from it since, but that came up, and I didn't edit it. I didn't say, oh, for God's sake, I can't say that out loud in front of
Yeah.
a group of people. I just did. It was SpongeBob.
Wow. That's amazing. And do you know what I see? What you've just so amazingly shared there with SpongeBob, courageously shared. You know, when people in general are doing life and
Mm,
decisions come to them and then ideas come to them, and then the first initial thing, and they're like, oh, no, I can't do that.
that's it. That now you've got it. Now you
Yes.
understand. Go with that initial thing.
Yes.
It's giving it you that for a reason, and that's the one. And if you say no, not that one, what you'll get is a second or third best.
Mm.
Or or it can get even worse. You do this too often to your unconscious mind. If you ignore suggestions, it'll stop giving them to you.
Yeah.
It'll say, what you're actually telling me is that you don't want any help. You don't want any intuitive, instinctive
Mm.
advice.
Oh
And then
my
you've got to
gosh,
train yourself to accept it again.
that is so key. And it is so true when you have an idea or a thought, or someone asks you a question, the first thing that comes to your, I say mind, it's more, you're not thinking, you're feeling, it just appears for you.
Here's a minor gift. I'll give you an extra minor gift. Now, it's going to take literally seconds. Whenever you have a problem, a question about yourself, something that you want to resolve, find a quiet space and you say to your unconscious mind, unconscious mind, I have whatever and state whatever the issue is, whatever the problem is. Give me a resource, show me a resource that will help me solve that problem. And it'll be an object. Take the object, sit with it. Don't try to overanalyze it, just sit with it. And then just, you can even say it, and you can even say to your unconscious mind, allow this object in its own time, as quickly or as slowly as it needs to give me the benefit of its wisdom so that I can understand the resolution to that problem. Done. It
Wow.
won't
And the
take long.
first thing that comes, and then what we
First
often
thing.
do is then use our actual thoughts of like, oh no, that's a silly idea.
That's the
Oh,
one.
the fear kicks in. I can't do that. Blah, blah, blah.
The conscious mind starts rationalizing it and saying, no, that's rubbish. That's not right. That can't be. So don't allow the conscious mind to get in the way of it, and just say,
Well, this is how I met you, because my mum said something like, oh, reach out, something like you're a hypnosis, maybe you want to be in your podcast or something. So I was like, obviously didn't know you, like didn't know if, I just thought, you know what, I'm just gonna add you on Facebook, and then because it felt right, and then you messaged me
yeah.
like, do I know you?
Yeah, well, I didn't know, do I? It's like, because I mean, obviously, your name didn't map up to McDonald, which is your mum's name, and I mean, obviously, I was working at the time with your
Sally.
sister, yeah, Sally.
Yeah, so
So,
if I hadn't just followed that, well, if my mum hadn't followed the thing to say to me, why don't you do this? If I had just gone, yeah, I will, and then just done nothing about it, I just thought, you
I
know
know,
what, it might sound a bit too forward, but I'm just going to add him as a friend. And then
yeah,
you
no, it's
listen to your
great,
intuition and then message me. It just
yeah,
shows that unless we're taking the action from our guidance,
it's
nothing
really
happens.
now that's really important. Taking action is critical.
Yeah, yeah,
Taking action is critical. When you've got a problem and you want advice, or you want the solution, and you start getting things coming up, you must act.
yeah.
You must act. Don't overanalyze it. Go with it,
Mm.
because the first answer is usually going to be the answer.
Yeah, I love that.
Nearly always, if not always.
Ah,
But
thank
I
you
always
so
say,
much.
yeah, ask for an object. And of course, you're looking at the object. What is it? SpongeBob? A rock with a golden aura? Whatever it is, you don't need to know what it is, because you will know, just not yet.
Mm.
But at some point, it will all come to you. I mean, even as we came out of that, you started giving me meanings to certain parts of that rock. It was
Yeah,
already starting to come to you. Boom, boom, boom.
exactly. And there's so much wisdom in there.
There's a lot more to that bird bath than you even know.
Mm.
Just saying.
Okay, I'll
Right.
sit with that. And Pete,
That was
I mean,
brilliant.
how can people get more of you? So I always like, obviously, I mean, when I say guest, of course you're a guest, but you're my soul brother. Like, I always want people
I
to
know.
know what you offer in case they want more. So,
Well, well, as a, I specialize in certain things, but that's just a marketing ploy. I have niches that I change.
so
But
you
it's a
do lots
marketing.
of things.
I do lots of things. And right now, I'm working with really stressed, really anxious, really frightened people a lot. Um, what I also, and it's a case of turning that around 180 degrees so that they're positive, happy. They've released all of those feelings. They give them tools like the things we've just done now to go forward in the world with, so that the tools become automatic to them. They don't need to don't need to call the bat phone and ask for help. It's automatic that they change the way they live, and it is life-changing stuff. I mean, people that want positive things, I also work with that.
Mm.
Um, it's 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 really instilling positive change into people's lives. So, I mean, I work with bodies like you do. I call it weight loss because that's what people want to hear. But I don't do weight loss. Weight loss, if they want it, would turn out to be a beneficial to them side effect of the lifestyle change that they're going to
Mm.
make.
Yeah.
And, so because I'm on the same page as you with a lot of that. It's about freeing yourself from the tyranny of this,
Yeah.
you know, and the usual things. But I really do I like helping people where their lives feel that are out of their control.
Mm.
I like to give people control back of their lives, and that could be anything from phobias. I mean, like I said to you earlier on, the levels of anxiety in people I'm seeing at the moment, I've never seen it in my career. I have never seen it, and this because there's so much going on in the world, and and especially cost of living stuff that's really, really hurting people. And I think what it's doing is it's triggering things that have been latent within them for a long,
Yeah.
long time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and I don't have people here and then look at the clock and say, "Oh, your hour's up. You've got to go." I mean, I'm with people until we've done the work.
Mm.
Sometimes it'll take 2 or 3 goes, but mostly I can do most of the work in one. But they'll be with me 2 hours, 2.5. I don't know, whatever it takes,
And you do it
whatever it
online
takes.
and in session and in
Oh
person.
God, yeah, or everything. Um, I mean, there was a time up until 2 years ago it was only in person, and I
Mm.
would do some group work online. But times changed, and I'm as happy over this as I am anywhere else. As long as I can see people, because I need to be able to see and
Yeah.
engage reactions and things. But I think it works really well. Zoom does, and you and I chat more often than we ever could without it.
Exactly. The only downfall is you can't physically hug on Zoom, obviously, but
We can try our
we
best.
save that for the
Save it, yeah.
in-person meetings.
Yeah, my goodness. Oh,
Yeah.
we will. But yeah, so getting hold of me is easy enough. I do have a website, and it's lancethypnosis.com. That's all it is. And
I will link it
all
below.
my contact details are in there. And you know, I don't know what to say. That's that. I am easy to contact, and I'm easy to work with too. So,
I'll link it below, and thank you so much
well, thank you.
for your gift today.
Well, I enjoyed it, and I thought it's a time that we're going through where it might be useful to somebody. And if it's only, as this cliche goes, if it only helps one person, then it's been worthwhile.
It's helped me.
Well, I hope it helps a lot more.
Yeah, me too.
Okay.
Thank you,
So
everyone listening, watching, and we'll see you next time. Thank you, Pete. Love you.
God bless you. Take care now.
Thank you.